Hello and welcome to my first 5-minute review. Today we're going to be looking at the Fanatec Podium Hub. The Fanatec Advanced Pedal Module, as well as the Podium Button Module Endurance. Yep, it's a mouthful, that one there. And then combined with a steering wheel of your choice, you get something that looks like this. You know, you use this to drive imaginary cars on there. That's really, really fun. Let's see if this is the wheel for you. The shifters, wow, Fanatec knocked it out of the park. I mean, honestly, I've used some shifters. There's a couple here. Yeah, this wheel here is at least double the price of this, and I can tell you what, the shifters, in my opinion anyway, is not as satisfying as these shifters. Even these here from Asher Racing, these are super loud. People downstairs can hear me. They feel okay, but it's not these shifters here. I would, in my opinion, these are the perfect resistance, just the nicest click to them, and I would not go and buy the cheap Fanatec as for sale. If you're going and you're going to buy this button module and you want to add a pair of shifters, I would highly recommend you get these. Honestly, it's a lovely feel to them. Even these pedals here at the bottom, super smooth. These you would use for clutch, you know, second clutch, or maybe for some reason you can't use your legs, you could use this as a brake or an accelerator, and there's a decent amount of control and feel you get from these pedals on the back. The hub lets you use other steering wheels. For a long time I was using the CSX2. For a long time I was using that on my DD2, which was possible because of the Podium Hub. If you like rallying, you can literally just have a steering wheel. You don't need any shifters whatsoever. You can just put a steering wheel here and you can have a sequential shifter, and this will work on your wheelbase. So this is a very nice to have. The only thing I have to say negatively about it is, and that is with most Fanatec wheels, so in fact all of them, is this quick release here. This thing here, there's always, doesn't matter how tightly you screw it in, doesn't matter if you put that other screw in from the bottom or the top, there's always that little bit of play. Now I never notice that when I'm racing, you know, and I've heard other people say they don't notice it when you're racing, but when you're not racing, which is a lot of the time, you do have your hands around the steering wheel, and that's when you notice that wiggle, and it just makes it feel not as strong, not as, you know, just not as secure, I guess. And you know, that's if you're spending this type of money on sim racing gear, in my opinion, you want something solid, man. You don't want that wiggle, yeah. You don't want a squeaky, you know, you want things to work well. So that is something Fanatec you can improve on, but the functionality and the idea of it is amazing. Okay, so now onto the button module. Let me start off with what I really like about this, and then we'll go on to my biggest issue with this whole setup. I love these lights here. They are super bright, brighter than most LEDs I've seen on any other wheel. These flag buttons here, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 on that side. If I've got a yellow flag, both these sides, nice big yellow. And that's very important, you know. I can have this steering wheel down here and I'll know, oh, there's a yellow flag. And sometimes just knowing that quarter second earlier is what helps you to avoid an incident. So in my opinion, These nice bright LEDs, perfect. Even the shift lights, perfect. I love how you can, how you can set these up in Fanatec, the software. If you like them to, rev out that way, you can have that do it. If you wanted to go from left to right to left, you can do all that in the software. The screen, it's nice and bright. You can see it, whether it's, you're sitting in a brightly lit room or in a dark room, you're going to see the screen. And it doesn't show an awful lot of information. I mainly use it for my brake bias, and it is definitely nice to have. I would not personally buy the button module just because, it's got a screen and you think, now I'm going to get a screen and it's going to help me. It definitely shows useful information, your fastest lap, previous laps, them type of things, but it's not, I would not go and spend the money just because you're getting a screen. See it as a bonus, see it as an extra. That's basically, in my opinion, what it is. For me anyway, I think the bright LEDs, and it might sound silly, but I actually think the bright LEDs is a bigger benefit to me than what the screen is. Onto the not so nice things. They made this backplate here out of carbon fiber. Nice, but it's expensive. I don't know how often I actually touch this or need to know that this is carbon fiber, but I do touch the buttons quite regularly. You touch your steering wheel, you touch your shifters, and you touch your buttons. Those are your contact points with your sensors and your fingers that you're going to feel. And these buttons all, in my opinion, just feel very, very cheap. It's not a bad click. If I push the button, I know I've clicked it. But it's not a satisfying click, if I can put it that way. And also, just the feel of all the buttons, they just feel cheap compared to the rest of what's going on here. So, in my opinion, Fanatec missed a trick there, because this backplate does not have to be super strong carbon fiber. They could have used a high quality plastic, put a stick over it, and they could have spent that extra 15 euros whatever to get a bit better buttons. These encoders here are plastic. It's got a nice click to them, don't get me wrong, but this would have been so nice if this was like a nice high quality rubber, or even a aluminium type thing. These toggle switches, it's a toggle switch. If you want to switch it, in my opinion, you push it up, it should stay up. Now I know, okay, it's up. If I switch it down, it should stay down, not return back to the center. That's what I call a toggle switch. You toggle it and you toggle it, not, this is more like I guess like a flick switch, if you want to call it that, but they do the job. These here got a nice little aluminium feel to it. I think it's aluminium anyway, but these here feel a lot better than what the rest of the buttons feel on here. Also, another thing I want to point out, this button here is really small. You need to push that button and then flick up here to go into your setups, change things on the fly. Don't be deluded. You're not going to be changing your sensitivity while you're racing. I personally think it's just easier to Alt-Tab out of whatever simulator you're on, go into your Fanatec and adjust what you need to adjust. To be able to adjust things on the fly, like Fanatec says, I definitely wouldn't call that a function, because you're not going to change it on the fly while you race. I'm not anyway. Maybe I'm incompetent, but it's quite hard to do when you're racing. So anyway, I think overall it's well built. If you're gonna have this and you buy the unit, you're gonna be happy with it. I've not heard anyone say, oh, they hate it, this is a bad product. If you spend the money on this, you will be happy with it. So obviously you're looking at the review to get a point of view. I've told you what I like, what I don't like. A lot of it is subjective. If you have one of these wheels, tell me in the comments what's the things you don't like about it. But yeah, that's my review anyway.
Hey, if
If you made it this far, thank you very much. If you liked my video or I've been at all helpful, please like this video, and if you could consider subscribing, please. I've got 1 subscriber at the moment. That's my wife. I made her subscribe, so you could be subscriber number 2. Thank you very much. Peace.